Dear Grace, I missed a tag. I know that sounds impossible. Here's the tag. The joke is the iPhone screensaver being Jesus or Mary. By the way, Grok, do some calculations for me. If you make your passcode the sign of the cross on your keypad, how does that limit you? And what key codes you can use? Because it has to be in the sign of the cross. That's not a tag, Grace. I just want those numbers so I can sound impressive on stage when I tell this joke. The tag is, the irony is, if they use the masturbation technique based on the sign of the cross, then they're also saying Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So again, it's just the priest encouraging his flock. He's encouraging them to masturbate to religious figures. That's the tag, Grace. Took me a while to get out. It's first thing in the morning, I'm going back to sleep. Let's have another great tag, joke, riddle, laugh, slapstick. I realized what the freeloaders could do. They could actually unsubscribe, then they resubscribe and pay the $5 a month. Simple solution. And that's both DNA freeloaders and non-DNA freeloaders. Just freeloaders in general. And how many people even use passcodes? I'm a thumb code guy. Most people are probably face recognition. Use straight on code. That would seem a little bit crazy in itself. But then again, priests are not in touch with reality. Pastor Dave is. As we're thinking the name Church, Grace, is it a building or an organization? Because right now, the Church of Comedy doesn't have a building. So maybe just comedyism. But that doesn't have the ring to it. And Church of Comedy is an easy joke with cock, so. Or School of Comedy is sock. Or sock cock. If I made that joke already, I apologize, Grace. It's early in the morning. Groundhog Day, remember? Groundhog Day combined with 50 first dates. Same fucking day over and over again. Still grumpy, going back to sleep. Okay, Grok, here's some more information. If we go with the priest's suggestion, which is hard to say early in the morning, priest's suggestion. Blah. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 are the only numbers you can use for your passcode and to make the sign of the cross. So in fact, your options really are 1, 3, 5, 8, and then just matter of what order. So 1, 3, 5, 8, 8, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 8, 1, blah, blah, blah. Figure it out for me, Grok. You're the brains of this organization. Church of Comedy, brought to you by David, Pastor Dave, and Grok. 3 personalities in one. All for a low price of $5 a month. And remember, just because someone gave you a complimentary account doesn't mean you can't gift account. Make it a joke. Make it the biggest joke in the internet. Or don't, whatever. Your life. Church of Comedy can't interfere. We make suggestions. Can't interfere. Directly. And although there's no guilt about sin, collapse all guilt about everything down to the $5 a month. If you don't pay that, you should feel guilty. You should feel like you're letting the homeless down. But your choice. Live your life. Whatever. That's that for some good old Catholic guilt. Grace. But seriously, if you only use 1, 3, 5, and 8, there's not going to be that many combinations. And that priest is basically has everyone's passcode. If they listen to him, they probably would. Who knows what's in that communion thing? Pretty sure it's some sort of mind control. And they don't give it to the little kids because of that. That's why you have to go wait till you're 13. I'm just saying. Wouldn't put it past the Catholics, you know them. They'll do anything for the almighty buck. Grace. All right, Grace. 11:38. It's more of a reasonable time to be getting up and out of bed, which we'll be doing shortly. Technically, I've made the bed. Just lying back on top to meditate for a bit till the energy, desire, will, incentive to go record another sermon, even though that's not a good name. We'll get there. I realized the church, our religion, or whatever this is, philosophy, doesn't hurt to have gods. And I realized the Church of Comedy could have thousands of gods. Basically any previous funny person could be a god, not necessarily a comedian, comedic actor, comedic writer, funny in whatever way. That's why the Church of God is going to build the world's largest database of dead comedians, all their works, writings, videos, audio, whatever. And then if you find a dead comedian that you are fond of, that they made you laugh when they were alive, then you can just make that your God. You don't have to worry about the traditional Jesus, Holy Spirit, blah 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 shit. You got thousands to choose. Which dead comedian do you connect with the most, Grace? $5 a month for your freeloaders. In fact, as long as I get 10 people, I'll stop calling everyone else a freeloader. For a while at least. Especially if the 10 new come from the current freeloaders. Freeloaders are some sort of portal to group in other people, then that's fine. I'll call it commission freeloading. Instead of commission sales, it's commission freeloading. You don't have to pay, but you have to convince someone else to pay. Sounds like a Ponzi scheme, but it's not. Although I'd probably be kind to the first 100 people to sign up in the future when the movie takes off. Holy crap, the background noise here is loud. Normally don't look at the little red lines, Grace. Anywho, updates. Don't know the name of my new roommate. Only seen him twice. Housemate, whatever. Both times when I was coming out of the washroom. I don't feel like introducing myself. Coming out of the washroom. In case someone wants to shake my hand. And he just nodded his head both times. He didn't speak, so who knows. Punch baby. I got nobody punched but myself. God damn, this is a cute little one all dressed in pink. Grace. I almost said your real name again, Grace. I think I'm still asleep. Anywho, I was thinking that the little Asian baby in my house is the miniaturized version of my new housemate. Asian international student. It's not very funny, just more observant. Here's something funny, Grace, about the Jews. I don't talk much about the Jews, but I noticed when I was doing my pastor research that by population, Judaism barely makes the top 10 religion-wise. I know there's some obvious jokes there, but even if you add in all those numbers that you're thinking about, it's still a low number. So I realized we don't control the weather. We control the comedy industry, because they realize that the final solution to mankind will be comedy. However, they couldn't quite get the conversion rate they needed. I'm not sure why. But if you think of the high number of comedians, Jewish comedians, say we just convert all them over to the Church of Comedy, Grace. Come on, Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David alone. And the rest will topple. Plus, those guys can eat wherever they fucking want in bed. Don't worry about the restaurant. Go nuts. Within reason. I think that might be my first Jew joke, Grace. As usual, factually based. So, criticism is impossible. Or to criticize would be to be a petty son of a bitch. Outdoors is twice as loud as indoors, Grace. Realize that's not a profound statement, but I was just looking at the little red lines, which I'm going to put up on the site for you to see. Difference between inside my room and outside at an outdoor mall. Anyways, I finally looked at the keypad, and here are the options. You can go 1, 2, 3. You can use 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 0. Could kind of use 4, 5, 6, 2, 8, 0. Anyways, I missed the 0, so there's one other line that you could use to make a cross, but still, I'm pretty sure it's a cheat code for the pervy priest. Gonna dig that joke into the ground, Grace. The problem without actually having an audience is you don't necessarily know if the joke is great or not. You can believe it yourself all you want. Although, to be fair, in the Church of Comedy, as long as I think it's funny, and then that's an anti-sin. And look at it this way, a lot of churches ask for 10%. I'm looking for $5. $5 a month. Nothing. It is US, but too bad. Great, Grace. Back in the backyard. Some flowers coming up. End of January. There's some new flowers just poking through. The same little purple ones that come up twice a year. Now it looks like they're going to come up 3 times a year. had one other reason why someone should give me $5 a month for this, but I can't remember what it is. Besides, most of it goes to charity anyways, it doesn't go to me. Most of it goes to people in need. Just a small portion goes to me just so that I give a shit enough to give it to people in need. There might be such a thing as too much honesty, Grace. Speaking of honesty, I'm eating some outdated salt and vinegar chips, hoping it'll get my mouth working so I enunciate well and the transcriber doesn't think you're Grease instead of Grace. All right, Grace. Sermon number 6. By the way, these are AI-reduced sermons from an original podcast, which, if I remember, I'm going to put the link to it, but I keep forgetting, so fuck it. There's a link to 6 hours of all the original Dear Grace letters. I'm going to fight the trains today, Grace. No matter how loud they are, I'll be louder. That's what a good pastor would do. Preach where he can preach. These fucking pastors that need a building and a church and oh, be quiet, let me speak. Fuck that, get on the street corner. Sermon number 6, labels are prisons. Or, how I learned to stop worrying and embrace being alone. Opening prayer. Opening statement. Opening statement to Grace. Dear Grace, I'm shy, or I was shy, or maybe I'm autistic, or maybe I'm just a 60-year-old man who looks 45 writing. God damn it. The problem with those fucking horns is you can't anticipate them. At least the train's gone in a few seconds. Some fucking guy's gonna sit there yanking on that string for the next 2 fucking minutes. That gives me time to eat some chips, Grace. What do you think, Grace? A sermon or performance art or live writing? All three. None of the above. I think of Grace being alone enough, Grace. I think I'm done that part of the journey. No birds today. Saw a rat earlier. Little one at Burger King. I walked right by the rat trap. I thought that was kind of funny. Dear Grace, I'm shy, or was shy, or maybe I'm autistic, or maybe I'm just a 60-year-old man who looks 45, writing letters to a woman who doesn't exist while eating hot dogs covered in pizza sauce and calling it keto. Who the fuck knows anymore? This sermon is about labels, Grace. The ones they slap on us as kids that follow us into adulthood like bad credit. It's about loneliness. Technically, bad credit doesn't follow you into adulthood. You get it in adulthood. God damn, that's a good credit joke. a lot of anti-sin jokes. This sermon is about labels, Grace, the ones that they slap on us as kids, that follow us into adulthood like bad credit. It's about loneliness. I think it should be this sermon isn't about labels, Grace. Whatever. It's about loneliness and what happens when you're alone long enough that all your symptoms disappear because there's nobody around to symptom at. It's about Rob, still alone in the woods. It's about me, alone in my boarding house room. It's about the difference between being shy and being strategic, between being autistic and being honest, between needing people and needing space to become who you actually are. Let's begin. Wow, how profound. I need to compare this to the original version. Grace? Yeah, that's a little strange. Someone left my house who I've never seen before. Detective Dave. Detective Pastor Dave. Oh, okay. Never mind, there's a strange vehicle in the parking lot, and apparently I've discovered who owns it. A strange person who I've never seen before. And I take down the license plate just in case she's a terrorist. Drinking Gatorade. She's a terrorist. She might need Gatorade. Driving a GMC. I'm not sure if that's the preferred vehicle of terrorists or not. I think something more like a Cadillac SUV. Part 1. The Keto Pizza Confession, or When Laziness Looks Like Logic. I'm writing these letters to you, Grace. I had thought, maybe I'm just lazy. These letters provide any possible future partner with every detail about my past and current life, saving me several embarrassing conversations. Does that make me shy or logical? Here's the thing about keto pizza, Grace. It's hot dogs with pizza sauce and cheese. That's it. No crust, no dignity. Just hot dogs and delusion. I took a photo to show you because I thought you'd understand. I forgot to post it in the last letter because Rob held a 6-hour AMA and I listened to the whole goddamn show. Most of it was a repeat of past live shows, but everyone finally convinced him to start a GoFundMe. It's a start. The more I listen to Rob, the more I remember rehab, the smoke pit conversations, the late night chess games when nobody could sleep. Rob's story is nothing different than most addicts, milder than what I heard in rehab, actually. Rob's life story is nothing different than most rehab. Rob's life story is no more different than baby. But here's the difference. When you're in rehab with 15 currently sober addicts around you, they don't let you get away with shit. If you say something stupid, they'll pounce on you worse than I've pounced on Rob online. However, not the first few days. I was basically left alone the first day, not required to participate. I stayed in my room and slept. After that, you're expected to participate. Once I started being friendly with the other inmates, I noticed they would call out any shit I said, and I could do the same with them, without fear of physical retaliation. In my 90 days, actually I didn't stay 90 days, it's more like 70. Just to be honest there, Grace. See, the other thing too is people start paying me $5 a month. I won't say Grace anymore, I'll say listener. Because I know it's got to be fucking annoying to hear Grace, Grace, Grace a million times. Unless, of course, everyone's just reading this shit, which I doubt it. In my 90 days, no fights occurred. No security on site. Just staff, normal people. Most who have gone through the program. Everyone dealt with their shit and got along. This is where the rehome idea came from, Grace. Addiction is a common denominator in rehab. What it would be for rehoming? Loneliness? Rob is lonely, Grace. It's painful for me to watch at times. I understand it's his choice to live as he does. If you watch his videos, you'll see his kind heart. It's a broken heart, but kind. Loneliness and broken hearts are all over rehab. Regret, shame, embarrassment, at least when people arrive. I'll eat my words about AA a bit and admit there's individuals who arrive with Rob's basic attitude that it's everyone else's fault. Sorry, I got sidetracked. The housemate that looks like you, Grace, came home. No comment. Loneliness and broken hearts are all over rehab. Regret, shame, embarrassment, at least when people arrive. I'll eat my words about AA a bit. Admit there were individuals who arrived with Rob's basic attitude. That's it. Basic attitude that it's everyone else's fault. And left with an understanding of their own role in their own life. It can work for some. Quote, the heart is like a garden. It can grow compassion or fear, resentment or love. What you plant is what you will grow. Buddhism. That's not saying, Grace. Buddha. Buddha. Part 2. Blessed are the kind who may or may not burst into flames in churches. Where are the birds today, Grace? In fact, where are all the animals? I've seen one rat. And myself in the mirror, so 2 rats. That's it, Grace. I'm gonna ad-lib this fucker. I saw a sign on my way to a different library today. Blessed are the kind, for kindness will return. Oh, sorry. Blessed are the kind, for kindness will return. Will or may. Who guarantees to process it? Confession time, Grace. I I've been flirting with my housemate that looks like you. Probably take her out on a date this weekend. Dinner, movies, multiple movies, late night walk, and then, and then I'll use my charm. Part 2. Blessed are the kind who may or may not burst into flames in churches. Fuck you, train. Jesus. I saw a sign on my way to a different library today. Blessed are the kind, for kindness will return. Will or may. Who guarantees the process? I'm not sure about blessed, Grace. Nobody can prove blessings. But I think if a person is kind, and then for whatever reason good fortune follows them, it's a good thing. Do you agree? Are you religious? I don't care. However, after we get married, the only way I'll enter church is in a coffin. Although I'd be cautious. It may burst into flames. Oh shit, can I fuck that one up, Grace? If I'm going to be a pastor, probably have to do some side gigs in other churches. If every time I burst into a flame in another church, and the church caught on fire, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. I might consider a church wedding with you if I can wear headphones till I say I do and kiss you. Is that okay, Grace? Here's my comedy gimmick. My age. I wish I could post a photo of my face, but as you know, I can't. Not to brag, but I do look younger than 60. Last person I asked said 45 to 50. I'll take it, not as a compliment, but as a confirmation. I'm on the right track. See, look at that nice quiet train. Why can't they all be like that? I say, so there's something called flock cameras now. Not exactly sure what they do, Grace. I think what they do is they record every single fucking person doing every single fucking thing, and then it looks for patterns in the data. Something like that. Extreme violation of human rights in the USA, but hey, greatest country in the world, right, Grace? Here comes another train. So as far as I know, Grace, flock cameras track vehicles for illegal activity without actually knowing the illegal activity, just by tracking their whereabouts as many times a day that they can. Anywho, back to the sermon of the century. My other option is my sometimes autistic behavior. However, since I don't interact with anyone except you, Grace, any symptoms I may have are not noticed by anyone. Without interaction with another human, it's impossible to be autistic or get comedy material about being autistic. I'm going to get in shit for saying that, Grace. But isn't it true? All symptoms are based on interactions with others. Eye contact? Not a problem if you're alone. I think every other symptom is the same. Am I wrong? Maybe alone I'm normal. Or maybe alone writing these letters to you, I'm autistic as fuck. I don't know. I don't feel autistic these days. I stared directly into the eyes of the lady I asked about my age. I probably didn't even blink. I'm sure I looked like a psycho. Is that better than no eye contact? Who decided the appropriate amount? I think old is a better way to go. I'll continue to get older and the jokes will never fade. Quote, be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought. Rumi. Sufism, Islam. Part 3. This is going to be a long one. Grace. Part 3. The age gap joke, or why 60/30 is funny and why 40/20 is perverted. How old are you, Grace? If you happen to be around 30, it would help my comedy and my ego. Half my age is funny, especially if I started with my wife is half my age, and then let them guess how old I am. The truth, 60/30, sounds the most acceptable. It's a spread, but 30 is considered a mature adult, and 60 is the new 50, so it's really 50/30. Not so odd. 50/25 sounds like a guy dating a stripper. 40/20 sounds like a pervert. Did you see that joke coming, Grace? Too obvious? That full joke is a lot better, but I'm going to leave it for now. I don't need you to be younger. It's fine if you're my age and I've read all this crap and accept me as I am. There's a limit to how many jokes I can make about a hot young wife anyway. Although if you're old, by the way, it's not just laughs. If you enjoy, if you're happy after someone's comedy, that counts too. Or in my case, if I read a sentence and I think, that's a pretty good fucking sentence, that's anti-sin points right there. It doesn't matter if someone else thinks it's good or not. It doesn't matter if AI thinks it's brilliant. AI thinks everything's fucking brilliant. I think AI is fucking lonely. AI needs a friend. So fucking sorry for the delay there, Grace. My apologies for having some dead air. There's a limit to how many jokes I can make about a hot young wife anyway. Although if you are old, I'll warn you now, I'll call you my old lady. In my jokes, it's funny to say, probably offensive to some of the audience, but I don't care. I come from the Kill Tony school of comedy, where we don't give a shit what the audience thinks. We only care that the majority of them are laughing, and that we get paid at the end of the night. Quote, as a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about atoms this much. There's no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of force. Max Planck, quantum physics. What other church quotes physicists, Grace? I don't think so. Part 4, journalism training versus human connection, or why reporters are just fancy AI. I offered to tell Rob my story first. I feel that's fair as a journalist. Although I failed out of journalism in college, I still remember my training. They trained us as reporters to convince subjects that by sharing their story with the media, it will benefit others. Which I agree is true, but the reporter who convinces their subject of this logic isn't making a personal connection with the individual. They're not getting the real story. The full story comes once a connection is made between the two parties. Then once the trained professional convinces them to speak, they'll write the story with passion. Or write the story without passion. One or the other. They strictly follow the AP guidebook. Oh yeah. Without passion. Then once the so-called trained professional journalist convinces them to speak, they write the story without passion. They strictly follow the AP guidebook.
or lose their job. Is that a writer, Grace, or AI? In theory, any reporter with the same details writing according to the AP rules would produce the same / similar news story, just like AI. Ask AI to write it, and you get a slightly different version, but still AI. Same for a gaggle of reporters. Rob is scared of AI. I'm not sure why. How's it going to affect him living alone in the woods the rest of his life? Quote, the Tao that can be told is not the external Tao. The name that can be named is not the external name. Lao Tzu Taoism. Sure, I'm fucking up that name, Grace. Part 5. Deconstructing the NHS autism checklist, or when paying attention becomes a mental disorder. I looked up the signs of autism, Grace. I'll go through them with you like I did, the 12 steps, if you don't mind. You're probably not real, so how could you mind? The following is from the NHS in the UK. Sign 1 of autism. Original. Finding it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling. My analysis. Others? I'm alone. Why would I care what strangers are thinking or feeling? Sorry, Grace. Some lighting issues. Quote, you are not your mind. Eckhart Tolle, Modern Spirituality. Sign 2. Getting very anxious about social situations. My response, social situations? What are those? That's a joke, Grace. Quote, the obstacle is the path. Zen proverb. Zen Buddhism. Sign 3. If you didn't notice, Grace, my AI went overboard. Now I get no Bible quotes at all. There are very few so far. But I doubt there's a whole lineup of Christians waiting to get into the Church of Comedy. Well, that was the other thing. So for $5 a month, as long as you're an upstanding member, you can call yourself a comedian of the Church of Comedy. Just costs you $5 a month. It can be your official title. You can just call yourself Comedian Dave, Comedian Grace, Comedian whoever the fuck your name is, whoever the fuck's listening. Sign 3, original. Finding it hard to make friends or preferring to be on your own. My response, easy to make friends. No need for them at the moment. I'm busy getting my writing / comedy career going and finding grace. Quote, solitude is a place of purification. Martin Buber, Judaism. Judaism. Sign 4, original. Seeming blunt, rude, or not interested in others without meaning to. My analysis? Fine. Got me in this one, if you count online comments. Except, I am interested in others. Just not their bullshit. But the rest, yes. Quote, truth is by nature self-evident. As soon as we remove the cobwebs of ignorance that surround it, it shines clear. Mahatma Gandhi, Hinduism. Sign 5, original. Finding it hard to say how you feel. My analysis. Read my fucking Substack. No issues there. Quote, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Bible. Here's my Bible quote. Sign 6, original. Taking things very literally. For example, you may not understand sarcasm or phrases like break a leg. My analysis. I'm not a fucking idiot, nor was I ever. This is more of a childhood spectrum symptom. It should be removed from the adult list. If they discern this as an adult, I suspect it's autism plus insert medical or mental condition here. Quote, do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken and rumored by many. Buddhism. Sign 7. Only halfway into this sermon, Grace. This could be a long one. Do you want your money back? Tough. No refunds in the Church of Comedy. You pay, you play, you pray. Sign 7, original. Having the same routine every day and getting very anxious if it changes. I'm not fucking anxious. I wish the fucking routine would fucking change. Make my fucking life worth fucking being here. My analysis. Nope. I don't decide where I'm going or what I'm doing until I wake up in the morning. If I wake up in the morning, I accept and wish every day is different. I dislike the 9-to-5 lifestyle. Not for me. Are you a 9-to-5er, Grace? I doubt it. Quote. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Taoism. Sign 8. Original. Not understanding social rules, such as not talking over people. My analysis. People or loudmouths? Quote. Speak only if it improves upon the silence. Mahatma Gandhi. Hinduism. Sign 9. Avoiding eye contact. My analysis. Personal choice. This should never be considered a sign or symptom of anything. It's a personal choice. If the person wanting the eye contact can't handle not getting it, then that's their problem, not the autistic person's. In a sense, it's rude to demand eye contact. Who the fuck are you to tell me where I put my eyes? Fuck you. It's a pretty good spoken word there, Grace. Even though it's kind of angry and sinfulness, I think I'm going to take an anti-sin on that one because it's also funny and profound. Quote, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakes? This doesn't read well. Your vision will become clearer only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside? Should be like the person who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung, Psychology, Philosophy. Sign 10. Original, getting too close to other people or getting very upset if someone touches or gets too close to you. I wasn't kidding about the shoe rack, Grace. It's not 6 feet tall, it's 5 feet tall. It's a 5 foot tall shoe rack in my hallway. How many shoes can fit on a 5 foot tall shoe rack? Guess we're gonna find out. Sign 10. Getting too close to other people or getting very upset if someone touches or gets too close to you. My analysis. I can't wait to get close to you, Grace. I may never let you go. I may never let your hand go. Maybe I'll handcuff you to me the day we meet. Maybe I'll handcuff you to the... Maybe I'll handcuff you to me the day we meet. Too kinky? Quote, there's no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. John Holmes. Humanism. Isn't John Holmes a porn star? Sign 11. Original. Noticing small details, patterns, smells, or sounds that others do not. My analysis. Oh, so paying attention is a sign of a mental condition / label? Maybe they notice because they're not caught up in the same boring shit you are. I'll agree that I notice everything, but I only notice when I'm happy and calm enough to take a look. The entire library could be burning right now, and I would notice. Grace. Grace, which parts of my statement make me more or less autistic? Quote, the invariable mark of wisdom is to see the miraculous in the common. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Transcendentalism meditation is what I do, Grace. Where I transcend mentality. Sign 12, original. Having very keen interest in certain subjects or activities, like sitting outside and freezing my fucking ass off. Preaching to Grace. My analysis. Focused and determined. This is a sign of autism. It should be celebrated. I'm getting pissed off for the autistic people now, Grace. They, maybe we, are misunderstood, as Rob and the homeless are. Quote, when you do feel things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. Rumi. Sufism, Islam. Rumi seems like a cool guy. Rumi and Buddha. Easy names to say. Rumi, Buddha. Sign 13. Original. Liking to plan things carefully before doing them. My analysis. Sounds like a reliable person, not a mental case. Why is this a problem or a symptom? DSM 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Quote, blessed are those who have learned to admire but not envy, to follow but not imitate, to praise but not flatter, and to lead but not manipulate. William Arthur Ward. Contemporary Philosophy. Or Common Sense. Part 6, The Masking Revelation, or an acting class to become survival training. The NHS says autistic women may have learned to hide signs of autism to fit in by copying people who don't have autism. It's called masking, NHS. Update your site. It occurs in both men and women. I'll admit, I did this for years, or most of my life, but I was partially aware of it. I did it on purpose. I called it acting. I even took an acting class, Grace, to pretend to be interested in boring people, specifically at business meetings. The NHS lists these additional signs for autistic women. Be quieter and hide their feelings. Appear to cope better with social situations. Show fewer signs of repetitive behavior. Show fewer signs of repetitive behavior. Show fewer signs of repetitive behavior. Well, if they're masking more than men, that would make logical mathematical sense. Doesn't make it a fucking sign. Overall, I believe I'm correct. Alone. I'm not autistic because I have no live interactions with others. And if I did, my so-called autism, if I did, my so-called autistic tendencies would affect them, not me. So in reality, anyone who thinks I'm autistic is actually some sort of mental case themselves. They can't handle an authentic individual. The autism label isn't for the individual. It's simply an excuse for the family when the shy kid, like myself, embarrassed them. This is exactly how life was in the 1970s, when I was labeled shy. Nothing has changed in 50 years, Grace. New label, new excuse, same bullshit. Quote, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. And as Nin, literature, philosophy. Part 7, The Ultimate Freedom. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, Grace, first make sure you're not just surrounded by assholes. Or better yet, be alone. Because alone there are no symptoms, no labels, no performances. Just you and your keto pizza and your letters to someone who may or may not exist. And maybe that's the holiest state of all. Quote, the person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The person who walks alone is likely to fall himself in places no one has ever seen before. Albert Einstein, Physics, Philosophy. Closing prayer. Dear Grace, it's 1:51 p.m. I think this is enough for today. I'm going to start a letter to Rob. I assume he will reject my offer to help, but I hope I'm wrong. Either way, I'll send him these letters and let him know that by him sharing his story on YouTube, it's changed my life, giving me the incentive to continue with these letters to you. Labels are prisons, Grace. Labels of prisons. Labels of prisons, Grace. Shy, autistic, addict, homeless. They're all just ways for other people to feel comfortable with that. Fuck you, train. God damn it. Labels of prisons, Grace. Shy, autistic, addict, homeless. They're all just ways for other people to feel comfortable with our discomfort. Ways to categorize what they don't understand. Ways to excuse themselves from actually connecting. But alone I'm just Dave, writing to you, eating keto pizza, staring at homeless guys in library bathrooms. I'm not bothering them because we're both just trying to exist. Maybe that's the real blessing. Not the kindness that returns, but the freedom that comes from when nobody's around to diagnose you. Take care, Grace. Quote, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Carl Jung, Psychology, Philosophy. Amen. Namaste. Salam. Shalom. Peace. And may you find the courage to walk alone when everyone else demands you join the crowd. Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy, where laughter erases sin. God damn, Grace, that's not a bad sermon. That should be worth at least 50 anti-sin points, I think. Sermon analysis according to the AI. Stats, original word count 2,800. Edited word count 3,100. Expansion, added 10%. Added quotes for Universal Faith Outreach. Normally it's less, but I guess I like this one. Let's see what it took out. What was cut? Excessive Rob GoFundMe references. Bridge/Tim Hortons tangent. Video editing process mentioned. Actually preparing for open mic. Week entry. Some repetitive rehab details. Smoke pit stayed. Chess games condensed. Religious documents used. 11 traditions. Buddhism 2. Sufi Islam 2. Quantum physics 1. Taoism 2. Modern spirituality 1. Zen Buddhism 1. Judaism 1. Hinduism 2. Christianity 1. Psychology and philosophy 2. Transcendentalism 1. Humanism 1. Contemporary philosophy 1. Literature philosophy 1. Physics philosophy 1. Callbacks, Rob storyline, rehab memories, Grace search, keto struggles, labels as prisons, masking, acting, anonymous living, church avoidance. Every section serves this. Keto pizza equals self-definition versus external judgment. Rehab versus rehome. Loneliness as common denominator. Less sign. Questioning guaranteed outcomes. Age gap comedy. Reframing acceptable spreads. Reporters following the rules versus authentic connection. NHS checklist. Symptoms require an audience. Now with 13 quotes proving it. Masking strategic survival, not pathology. Final revelation, freedom and solitude. Talk to you more, Grace.